This episode of Crop Life Retail Week brought to you by Liberty Ultra Herbicide from BASF, the best Liberty yet. Hello, welcome to a special edition of Crop Life Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj, editor of Crop Life and Crop Life Iron, here with Lara Sowinski on site at the 2025 Commodity Classic Show in Denver. Lara, hey, good to see you in person.
Special indeed. This feels really odd.
Yeah, well, and we're doing this video on an odd format and an odd way, but hope it comes out well. So for you viewers, I'm going to kick it over to Miss Lara. We have a few things to share regarding the Secretary of Agriculture, who was one of the speakers here, Brooke Rollins. And Lara, you had some time to listen to her give a press briefing and share with our viewers what she had to say.
I did indeed. I think we were all happily surprised that she was going to show up to Commodity Classic and address the attendees. But she also included an impromptu press conference prior to her main stage engagement. So I was able to get a couple clips and a couple of things that she talked about. So the first clip, she's talking about exploring some new export markets for U.S. ag. And so here's what she had to say about that.
And then you have a whole host of regulations that have been layered on over and over and over again. So there are a lot of factors. We are attacking it from all sides, putting together the plan that can hopefully begin to roll that back. I am planning to very aggressively, with President Trump's permission, go out into the world and look to expand our markets and also make capital easier, especially for our younger farmers, as we begin to build, hopefully, the next generation of our leaders in agriculture.
Another question from the press folks that were there at the press conference, one of the questions had to do with assistance to producers. She kind of alluded to, yes, there would be, but was kind of absent as to specifics, when, where, how. The only thing that she did say is that everything is on the table. Here's that clip as well.
Everything is on the table right now, everything. I know that President Trump, whom I speak with regularly, realizes the state of the farm economy in this country. The last time I know he pushed Secretary Perdue to ensure that we were able to make whole, or at least as obviously it was imperfect, but as best as we could, some of those, and hopefully most of those, if not all, who have been hurt. But again, everything is on the table. We're building the team at USDA to ensure that we have the structure and the plan in place to allow us to move very quickly.
So the big item, without a doubt, tariffs. As we're recording this is Tuesday, March 4th. Woke up this morning to tariffs in place for Canada, Mexico, and China. And while we kind of poked around, I think it's fair to say during our time here at Commodity Classic to get kind of the vibe, what people are expecting. Most were kind of mute on the point, to be honest with you. They didn't want to offer up an opinion, which kind of understandably given what's at stake right now, not to mention that, frankly, we don't know. And until, I mean, there were some folks that we talked to that said, we're not even going to issue a statement because we kind of suspect that maybe things will change even within a 24-hour period. So again, as we're recording this, maybe the tariffs will be an issue that's resolved between now and when this airs. But here's another clip of Secretary Rollins and her comments on tariffs.
There is no question. Everywhere I go, in the 4 or 5 states I've been to so far, we've had a lot of producers into the USDA headquarters. When I'm in Washington, I'm sort of constantly trying to be talking to them and hearing their concerns directly is very helpful for me personally and figuring out what the next steps are. Everyone is very concerned, and so ensuring that we have all of the data, the information that we need, understanding the decisions that are being currently made, what implications those have. Obviously, that is my role to take that to President Trump and to the team that is negotiating, that is working on those deals to ensure that those concerns are heard effectively and that we have a plan in place to make sure that our farm community is not compromised more. Thank you.
So that's the scoop. Again, it was good that she did show up. Um, a lot of enthusiasm for her, to be honest, particularly with this crowd. However, candidly, folks are still looking for kind of like, sounds great, but we need a little more to hang our hats on. So
Yeah, and
that's the upshot.
and Laura, that was what I heard from folks too, that no one officially went on the record, but basically off the record, they said that they were hoping for more definitive details than we did get. They liked the promises, but yes, some dates, some deadlines, some timing would have been a little more helpful. But
Right.
again, we'll see what happens as we go through the year. Obviously, I know Brooke had said she's only been on the job for so many weeks at this point, so there's a lot of ground yet to go. So.
Yep.
All right. Well, very good. Well, before I have my observations on the Commodity Classic here in Denver, we'll take a pause for a word from our sponsor.
After 30 years in the market, Liberty Herbicide was ready for an upgrade. BASF is proud to deliver the best Liberty herbicide yet. We took an important tool for farmers and made it better. A better Liberty herbicide for tougher weeds on the best farms. Liberty Ultra Herbicide, powered by Gluel technology from BASF. Visit liberty-ultra.us to learn more.
So, hey, Laura, then one other thing following Course Commodity Classic, it's a big event for the ag community. A lot of the companies that exhibit here, they introduce new products that'll be coming into the marketplace in time for the upcoming growing season. This year was no exception, as you might imagine. Ag technology, smart ag, smart tech, that was in evidence at a lot of company booths, the equipment manufacturer booths. A lot of it it was grower facing, had to do with things for tractors and combines. But I'm happy to report that on the self-propelled sprayer side of the business, two companies we know, Case IH and New Holland, both had introduced new systems that are going to be, to help the applicators in the field when it comes to looking at brown on green weed control. From Case IH, they're calling theirs SenseApply, and New Holland's calling theirs IntelliSense. Both of these systems run on the Sense and Act system, which Raven Industries and Augmenta introduced to the marketplace, I think 2 years ago now. And as I said, those systems are going to start being installed on the 2026 models of New Holland Guardian sprayers and the Case IH Patriot 50 series and the Trident. So look for those technology advancements to be coming into the marketplace pretty soon. And then, Laura, one other observation is people have for the last couple of years been talking about autonomous vehicles in agriculture. And I attended a session at the Commodity Classic where the folks from Purdue University, they conducted a research survey of some growers. And the takeaway they had on autonomy, again, I've kind of wondered myself why autonomy hasn't taken off a little faster in the marketplace. But based on their research, they said that autonomy is not really profitable for growers at this point when it comes to replacing human labor, unless the human labor is less than $30 per hour for those growers to be, outlaying that type of money for their the labor to drive the vehicle versus having the vehicle be autonomous. But they did point out the one thing autonomy offers is the amount of field that can be covered by an autonomous vehicle is much greater than it is using a human operator. So a good news, bad news scenario when it comes to autonomy. But basically we're not there just yet when it comes to autonomy adoption and may not be for a little while.
Actually, one other, as we kind of wrap up the show here this week, some things that I was kind of struck with. One, I will say that, and I think you and I agreed when we stopped into the booths and checked in with folks, the sentiment overall was like, we're getting really good traffic. We're having good conversations. What we've been talking about at CropLeft, I know a little bit more about, hey, this is a time to take a closer look, a more critical look at your business operations overall. Where can you make judicious cuts, if you will, and savings? A lot of folks were talking, let's retrofit, let's repair before we wholesale replace. So they're really being, again, kind of pragmatic given the time, but that doesn't mean that they're not investing in things. I mean, the expectation is, sure, we will invest, and we know we have to, but the ROI, let's de-risk it, and let's make sure we get a speedy ROI. So, but it was great overall. I think everyone was happily surprised, with the traffic and kind of the good talk. So, nice bright spot.
Yeah, and before we put it
that
to,
bright spot.
and it was there, and before we put it to bed, of course, the one thing to note is next year's Commodity Classic is going to be the 30th anniversary edition of the event taking place in San Antonio, your now home state. Yes. So again, we'll have lots more between now and next year to talk about, I'm sure, regarding the upcoming show in the 2026 season. So
for sure. And actually, one more item I wanted to mention. So we have a biologicals innovator of the year. It's not with CropLife, it's with our sister pub, and I wanted to make sure that we kind of help them pitch this new award. Deadline for applications, or to submit, I should say, is March 12th. So anyway, check it out. It's really cool. I like what they're doing. They're recognizing farmers that are using biological products. And so March 12th, check it out. You can tell it's the last day of the show. Probably if you ask me my name, I'd have to pause.
Bio Innovator of the Year, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yes.
Wow, we really messed that up, didn't we? Well, can I redeem myself on Fun with Numbers? What do you have now?
Okay, well, yes, before, yes, let's try this. Yes, so it is time for the ending segment. Yes, even though it's a special edition, I still have a Fun with Numbers. So, Miss Laura, time for Fun with Numbers.
You say that like it's fun for me, but
I have fun.
Shit, torture, brother. I know.
I have fun torturing you. Yes. So, Miss Laura, your number this week is a percentage.
Okay.
45%.
Okay.
So, Miss Laura, is 45%, is that the percentage of corn acres that had fungicide applications in 2024? Is it B, the percentage of crop protection companies at the 2025 Commodity Classic that previewed new products for the 2026 season? Is it C, the percentage of equipment companies at the 2025 Commodity Classic that introduced new products? Or is it D, the percentage of time Lara Sowinski spent at the 2025 Commodity Classic trying to find, quote, a good cup of coffee, unquote?
Gosh. Yeah, I never would characterize myself as a coffee snob, but even I have standards. And I was having a tough time finding a cup.
That's why I figured it was about half the time you were looking for a good cup of coffee. So,
but I will say, Syngenta had a beautiful setup in their booth, and they even with the foam had a little Syngenta on top, so that was super. So thank you, Syngenta, for saving the day there.
Yeah, so what do you think? Fungicide, new products, crop protection, new products, equipment. What's your option?
Honestly, I'm going with C.
No, you're not ending on a good note. Yes, there were a lot of new products introduced, but the 45% actually came from an event I attended just before Commodity Classic began. Our friends at BASF had their Behind the Science forum, and they had mentioned that in 2024 that only 45% of the corn acres in the country had a fungicide application put onto them. It was about 80 million acres out of 180 million acres total of corn. So based on, and again, one other thing walking around the show, a lot of the companies, the crop protection companies, were emphasizing fungicide, new fungicides, fungicide applications. So there is a lot of room for growth when it comes to fungicide application. And based on the numbers, I mean, if the growers aren't applying it and they have an issue, they could lose 10 to up to 50 bushels per acre of corn. And, given the price of corn these days, every bushel counts. So.
Mm. See, I should have just kind of peeked over on this sheet.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever, I can't even read your writing, so.
No one can.
So now it's.
I was told
for another cup of coffee.
I was told many a times growing up I should have been a doctor because my handwriting was unreadable. So, All right, well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the special edition of Crop Life Retail Week from the Commodity Classic in Denver here for 2025. That was the wrap, and we will see you again next week back in our normal studios. Take care. This episode of Crop Life Retail Week brought to you by Liberty Ultra Herbicide from BASF, the best Liberty yet. If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comments section below. Your feedback is important to us. We will try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.